listen, I'm so excited to be here. This is literally one of my mentors that I've been following for years. I don't know if he knows, but I'm so excited because Sterling Anderson, developer, real estate, family man, so many things. I look up to this guy on Instagram and just on social media, and I just love what he's doing. And so he posted he was coming to Miami, and I hit him up. And so gracious, he came out to spend some time with us tonight. Hopefully drop some gems to help some people out, man. So I'm super excited. So, but welcome Sterling Anderson to the We Just Different podcast.
Thank you,
so
man.
excited that you're here, man.
Thank you so much. It's an honor, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. So tell me, so what is it? Who is Sterling Anderson? I want to hear about the family, Red Oak.
Yes.
About all of it. Like, who is Sterling Anderson?
Oh goodness. Well, my partner told me earlier, said, "What is it that you don't do?"
Okay.
So, because it's been a lot, especially over these past few months, because so much has changed. But family man for sure. So I am a father of 7 children.
Okay.
So 7 all the way from the age of 26 all the way down to my 3-year-old.
Okay.
So there's a range there. My beautiful wife Marcia, who holds the fort down while I'm away. And then there's Red Oak, which is hotels, multifamily, and then we have some single family stuff going on in New Orleans. And then, of course, just really hopping into more of the multifamily game as well. I think right now we're at about 320 units syndicated. Looking to do 500 to 1,000 more by the end of the year. But we're at mid-year, so we'll see how that works. But then we have, of course, the hotel aspect of things, and then doing things down in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. So it's moving.
So when you say syndicated, what does that mean?
So syndication is
that's real estate terms.
Yeah, everybody might not know that. So
Okay.
syndication terms is essentially you're pooling money.
Okay.
So you are essentially setting up an investment, raising capital from investors to essentially buy a deal, and then they can receive returns from that particular deal, whether it be monthly or quarterly or however you decide to set that up. The key thing with that is just to make sure that you're all the way up and up on the Securities and Exchange or SEC rules and regulations and everything for that when you're syndicating a deal, because it is a security, so you have to make sure you're good with that.
So tell me this: how did you get involved in real estate, and how did you get involved in at the depth that you're in it now? Because that's not the norm for African Americans. Let's just put it out there,
that's
right?
True.
There's not too many of us in the development space, in commercial real estate space. It's not too many of us. Like, how did you get involved in that?
Right. So for me, this past January marked 10 years for me being in real estate.
Okay.
And so I started out doing wholesaling. I was wholesaling, single family properties, wholesale some smaller multifamily properties. And I'd seen my grandfather, they had rentals. So I wanted to know a little bit more about that. And then I came in contact with Kenny Rushing and Cody Sperber back in the day and watched their videos and implemented some of their things. And then fast forward, did some fix and flips and got into some rentals. And this was about 2015, 2016 that I met Grant Cardone, who's still my friend and mentor now. And he really pushed me to get into that multifamily space and think bigger. It's just like, single family's fine, but there's so much more out there that you can do. And you can get outside of your own backyard, and you can grow and you can scale. So that led to about 2017 really getting into the multifamily space. So really over the past 2-3 years, we've been pushing pretty heavy with multifamily, and then also raising capital for others deals as well. And as we've been able to build a pretty good base of investors, there might be some other deals out there or other people who are looking to raise capital, and we'll certainly help them out with that. So I spend a lot of my time raising capital. Within this past year, we were going to launch our hospitality division pre-COVID. And then COVID happened, of course, and that just shut a lot down. But September, October last year, we started to see some uptick in travel, and people want to start getting back out and doing things. So it presented a pretty good opportunity to look for distressed hotels. To either acquire that note or just buy it outright. You can do a 5 or 6 year play, and then you can get it out and do it that way. So launched that with 3 hotels. So 3 hotels back home in Omaha, Nebraska.
So you're from Omaha?
Yeah, from Omaha.
Okay.
Yeah, so 3 hotels there, right by the airport, right by downtown. We just sold out of all 3 hotels because College World Series is coming.
Okay.
So that works out well for us in being in that location. And then the development that we're looking at here, for a possible 120 room hotel in South Beach.
Okay.
So it's a really good opportunities that are coming in hospitality. So we have that, and then the single family houses that we're doing in New Orleans. So there's 10 of those. We're on our second, and building 5 more, just to get all the way up to that 10. And then we'll hit Baton Rouge and start to do some things in Houston as well. So we're pushing.
So let me ask you this, because you say it is casual.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is what you do every day, right?
Right.
And the reason I say that is because you said 10 years.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you've been doing this for 20, 30 years.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
So if you've been doing this for 10 years and you've been able to accumulate this amount of success or this amount of lessons, right? Because I know there's been some lessons in there.
A lot of lessons, yes.
You've been moving for the past. I mean, you haven't been sitting down not doing nothing, because I know people that have, been talking about the same thing for 10 years and they hadn't done nothing.
Right.
Tell me about pre-real estate. Why are you how you are, the entrepreneur, the just go-getter? Because everything that you talked about, it's a lot of people that takes 25, 30, 40 years, a lifetime to accumulate, which you've been able to do roughly, 7 years probably?
Yeah.
Because I know the first few years were learning.
For sure.
So how did you get, who are you? Who is your family? Like, who exposed you to this level of thinking?
I always knew I wanted to do my own thing. I know I was never meant to be an employee. And
have you ever been an employee?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
When I left Bank of the West, I was doing loans and underwriting. So I'm from the banking world.
Okay.
So loans and underwriting and doing that. So I left there and have been doing full-time real estate. I've been in since January 2013. Okay. And that's when I left and been doing it full-time ever since.
So full-time started as like a fix and flip, or were you
full-time? I was still wholesaling at the time.
Okay.
So I was still wholesaling the single-family stuff, and it was becoming consistent. So I said, let me take this step out on faith here and make this happen, and went off from there. Right? Everything hasn't been easy, but before that, I did 10 years. I was a concert promoter. So I would do club events. I would do concerts. The last concert I did was Snoop Dogg and Mike Epps. I did it with a casino back home. It was Council Bluffs, but it's like over the river.
Got you.
That was the last show that I did, and for me, that was it. I was turning 30 at the time. I'm 41 now. So for me, it was like, okay, I need to do something else. This ain't the same. I don't like this anymore. I want to grow. I want to do something else.
Got it.
So let me really just start getting into real estate, which had always been a passion.
Yeah.
But I knew that's what I want to do. Didn't want to be an employee. Wanted to grow. Wanted to scale. Wanted to build wealth. And real estate was definitely a great way to do that.
So talk to me about making that decision, walking away from a job. That's but you have kids. You just said you have 7 kids.
7, yeah.
Right. So I'll be 40 next month.
Wow, man.
And I got 5 kids.
Yeah.
And I just walked away from my job. Right. But it's just got a promotion. 6 figures. Yeah. People are like, "You're crazy." I haven't even told everybody yet because I don't want to deal with the.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want that energy, right?
I know that feeling.
So how do you make that decision when you got kids at home?
Yeah.
That they don't really understand this is Dad's dream, but I'm going after. Like, how do you just know that I'm going for it?
And that was the important part. The driver was my kids.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to do it. I didn't want to continue to sit at the job that I knew I was going to be unhappy with every day. Yeah, it's a guaranteed paycheck every 2 weeks, but is that it? This is not fulfilling to me. This is not what I want to do. I see more for not only myself but my family. So I had to do it. That was a necessary thing for me. But the kicker and the driver was my last day. A lady had called and cursed me out because we didn't send her title after she paid off her vehicle. That was a bad day for me too. So me and that lady had words. They sent me home for the day, and the next day I came back and got my stuff, and I haven't looked at a job ever since. I said, no, this is it. That was confirmation for me. I said, God, let me, if this is for me, let me do this.
Yeah.
And has it been easy? No. But it's growth. Pain comes with growth. But man, looking back, it was the best decision that I ever made. Wow. The best decision I've made. I've made a lot of good decisions,
but
that one right there, because had I not done that, I wouldn't be where I am today. I have so much further to go. I kind of feel like I'm just getting started.
Right.
So doing that, it's like it was a must for me. I had to do this for my family. And they say, well, what about you're not going to have a paycheck? Well, I was doing a little bit better than the paycheck that was at my job because the deals were consistent and things were moving. So I said, okay, now is the time to do that. So it was easy for me, but my family. So
that one decision changed everything.
Yeah, it changed everything for me.
So if you take anything away from this, what I'm getting more than anything is that once you make a decision, then everything,
don't add time to it.
Everything begins to shift.
Yeah.
But you have to do some work. You have to put some work behind it.
You got to put that work in.
If you wouldn't have made that decision, I've been stalking you.
Yeah.
Maybe you wouldn't have got that email from the People's Court.
Right? Yeah, see, right? There you go.
So that's major.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Major.
That's really big. I'm excited about that.
That's major, man. That's major. And so what a lot of people don't understand and realize when it comes to entrepreneurship, and this is one thing I say all the time, Sterling, one of the most challenging and difficult things that we go through is not what's coming against you, but it's what's inside of you trying to get out.
Yes.
Right? So it's like once you know that it's more inside of you, and I wasn't going to go here, but since I've heard you say a couple key words, like I'm assuming you're a man that believes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's like once you know God has more for you, it's almost, it's depressing, it's unsettling. And you just feel like, I know I could be doing more. Right. Like, this can't be life, right? Yeah. Like, you stay up because you're mad at yourself that you're going to work every day. Have you been there before?
Man, Yeah. That's it.
So everything that we're doing in this podcast and the movement that I'm a part of just pushing is just saying, hey, people, God has something for you major, right? I believe God put the sky where we can see it because He wants us to reach for it, right? I don't think He would have put it where we can see it if He wants to reach for it, right?
Yes.
And it's like everything that is owed to you and your family and your generation, in generations to come, you're going to be a conduit of that, right? So big ups to you. Congratulations,
that, man.
Like, that's so major. Yeah. That's major. So right now, 320 units under syndication, right? You've raised funds. What is the goal? Like, tell me 12 months, 5 years, like what does that look like and what do you want to see come from all of this?
10,000 units is the goal.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going for that magic 10 number. So 10,000 units.
By when?
In 10 years.
Okay.
So my biggest goal is to be $1 billion company in 10 years.
Okay.
So, and that's something I'm really, I hold fast to every day. I write my goals out twice a day. So Red Oak will be $1 billion company. Red Oak will be $1 billion, so
why do you write your goals twice a day?
Well, it really it affirms what I'm after, and it really makes me take it seriously. Okay. So when I get up in the morning, during my miracle morning, I write my goals, and then before I go to bed at night, I'll write them again. And then if I'm having a tough time during the day or my motivation's lacking or just been a crazy day, I know I can open up that book and I can review them. I can go through that.
And so you write them same goals?
Same goals.
And you write them down every single day?
Every single day.
But but if somebody looks at that, that's crazy. Why would you write down the same thing twice a day, every single day?
It's like you have to know and embed that in your mind and know what you're working toward every single day.
Okay.
So whether you're writing it down, whether you open up the notepad, like my affirmations are in my phone.
Right.
So whether you're doing that, affirmations, or wherever you have to put it, make sure that you can focus on doing that daily. I recommend twice a day. Some people only do it the whole New Year's resolution thing. Well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, you go so much further
doing the same thing next year and ain't done nothing.
Writing done nothing. You'll go so much further writing your goals twice a day than the person who just maybe does it, once a day. You'll go so much further doing that twice a day.
Wow.
On your mind in the morning, throughout the day, on your mind at night before you start the next day.
So that answers why you was able to do so much in the last 7 years, right? You're
it's
looking at it twice
focus,
a day.
Man. Yeah. COVID almost took me out. I lost a lot during COVID. There were deals that fell through, investors that were supposed to buy deals that didn't. I had capital involved in deals that that I had to recoup. So COVID hurt, but I made that decision that 2021 is definitely going to be that year. 2021 and 2022 is definitely going to be the rebuilding years, and we're definitely doing that. So again, back to those goals, is that it's a must to be able to do that just to keep that focus and knowing what you're after, especially coming from losses, like 2020. Because my biggest mistake was I wasn't prepared. So coming back from that, keeping those goals in front, it's a definite must, man.
Wow. So did your family come up in real estate, or like what was the introduction to this business for you? What's the background? How did you grow up?
My grandmother and my grandfather. So they own rentals, and I would see how they manage their rentals. I'd see how my grandfather would fix up houses. My grandmother's contractor, so she, would fix houses and has her own crew to go out there and do that. She still does some projects.
Okay.
To this day, my grandmother.
Got you.
My grandfather's a little bit more laid back, but my grandmother, she'll hop in there and she'll get it done, or have somebody else get it done. So I watched them and how they did things, and it's like, okay, that's definitely something I want to go towards. I seen them talk about wealth. I seen them, they teach me and my cousins about, here's the things that you should do. Here are things that get your family set up. Once we started having kids. So it definitely came from them. And my grandmother, my grandfather just drilled a lot into me about success, how to carry yourself, how to treat other people, how to do those things. And so I get a lot from them.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's nice. So 10,000 units, 10 years. You want to be at, you said 1,000 by the end of this year. What's the goal by the end of this year?
Goal by this year is 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 1,000.
That's
so we have, of course, some stuff in the pipeline that we're looking at. It's just really finding a deal that works for our investment group, which is kind of difficult right now. But not to say that they're out there, because they are, but it's like, man, we don't really want to overpay on a deal or pay a premium on the deal, and then we lose out. But it's finding that right deal to get us to get us to that
And you
level.
look for deals nationwide?
Yeah, nationwide.
Okay.
Yeah. So it used to be just in our backyard, but
so how does that work with inflation being what it is right now? Real estate's on the edge of that bubble right now. How does that work? I mean, because I know a lot of people that are in the space that you're talking about, and they're waiting. Mm-hmm. They're waiting on that bubble to burst because they know that things are gonna open up, right? And then you have some people that, Grant Cardone, they're aggressively like, there's no waiting, like it's pedal to the metal all the time, right? So how do you navigate that, especially when you're talking to investors, to say now is a good time to invest with Red Oak?
And the blessing that we have is that we have investors, of course, that are on both sides. So you got some investors that are just like, oh, maybe we should wait, maybe we should do that. You have some investors that are just like, no, let's take this right now, let's roll with it. I'm the same way. I'm on both sides, depending on the deal, depending on how it looks from an investment standpoint. Like, there's some things out there that are just like, okay, no, this is something that we need to jump on. Then there's other things that's like, well, let's just wait and see what the market does for this particular deal. So it's really on a deal by deal and case by case basis. But I am riding both sides. So some things it's just like I really, really want to get on. Like, have a couple partners that think I'm crazy for taking a development deal in South Beach. But there's a lot more. They're just like, okay, man, we see the potential. Let's do this. Let's jump on it. Let's make it happen. So then you have that. But everybody gets along well. Everybody gets along fine. But everybody has different business, things about doing business. But as long as everybody just continues to gel, it's still good. And that's the benefit of having more than an abundance of partners to make things work.
Absolutely. So when when you're looking for properties, do you put out like a request for more funds to come in, or how does that work? Or like if somebody wants to invest, because I don't know at the level you're at, and forgive me if I say something wrong,
you're fine.
But like is it institutional investors to where you have to have a certain, like, you're only big players where it's like 100,000 to get in, or you can't get in, or like how does that work?
Yeah, so it's both. So we'll do both, accredited, non-accredited investors. We'll do the institutional as well, like hedge funds. There's a couple of hedge funds that we work with, family office that we work with. So we'll do those for the larger deals, like the 400 unit development that we have back home in Omaha. A lot of that's institutional. A lot of that's accredited investors, where you have to have a minimum of 100,000 to be able to invest in that particular deal. So, but we also have some smaller deals, or we'll have investors that may just want to be a part of, like, the due diligence fees or the survey fees, or just different things that might be on the front of a deal, just to be able to get in and make an investment in that deal. On our hotel side, it was the same thing, and a lot of that's individual investors on the hotel side. But yeah, so we're able to ride it from both fronts. We can go to private investors, or we can go to the hedge funds and family offices. So it works.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you eat, sleep, breathe real estate.
Yeah, raising capital. I spend a lot of time
raising
doing that.
capital. Raising capital. So what do you do, like, on your off time, or is there any off time? Because a lot of people think well, I want to be an entrepreneur so I can do what I want to do. But
Right.
they don't realize that when
Man.
you're working for yourself full time,
Yeah.
it's like from the time you get up to the time you go to bed,
Right.
right? So it's
Yeah.
like you're always on go. Do you
Yeah.
ever get to that place where you're like, I'm comfortable,
Mhm.
I'm at peace, or is that like what does that look
You know,
like?
I got that from even from Grant and even from a lot of people where you just have to be just like on all the time. I had to turn that off. For me, it's balance, and everybody's like, you can't have balance being an entrepreneur. You can if you want to. Who controls your day? You or everybody else that you listen to who says you can't have balance in your life?
Right.
So my thing is up at 4:30 a.m. prayer, meditation. I read scripture, go through my day, my goals, read or do some motivational stuff, get to the gym. I'm back home to have some time with my kids before they go to school or get into their day. My work day starts from 9:30 a.m. My phone is on Do Not Disturb. So it comes off of Do Not Disturb at 9:30. I go till 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, it shuts off. That's my time to catch up with family, have dinner, prep for my day ahead. Some time with my wife to catch up with her and make sure that she's good. And then I can get up and do it the next day. Now, if it's late, I want to go down and do something. Okay, I have that option. I can. But at 41, I don't think I have to be on all the time.
Right.
I think that there's a time where I have time for myself in the morning. I have time to take care of my business and 10x it for that time.
Right.
And then I have time in the evening for my family. Just like tonight, we'll always make it a point to wherever I am, whether I'm at home or if I'm like here, I hop on Zoom and I'm at the dinner table with my family.
Yeah.
So that's a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah.
Time with my family, that's a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah.
I don't care what deal it is. I don't care what's happening. Time with my family, I take that seriously. I'm a father first.
Right.
I'm a husband first. So, those things take precedence to where I just had to say, I don't have to be on all the time. I don't have to stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it will happen. But I don't feel like I have to do that. And for me, that's brought a sense of peace to my life that I can have that balance. I don't have to be so on all the time.
Yeah.
My day is structured, although sometimes it may not go the way I want it to. I still have structure in my day. So that works for me.
What is Sterling Anderson? What is Red Oak? What do you do to give back? Because like I said, the biggest thing that I've loved about following you for the past few years, and like I said, I think the first time I came across you on social media, like you've been a mentor of mine for years.
That's
right?
cool, man. That's awesome.
First time I came across you on social media, I think I went to a 10X conference. I want to say it was I think it was the one Grant did in Miami. So maybe it's like 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
2-3 years ago.
Yep.
Snoop came.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so he came out there, and about 6 months before that, I saw you.
Yeah.
And you were posting some stuff, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna follow this guy, and then I'm following, and I'm watching it grow.
Yeah.
Because 3 years ago you didn't have 320 units.
Right. Yeah.
What was it 3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago I was still doing flips and still doing wholesale.
You weren't doing commercial
No, I
stuff.
wasn't doing commercial stuff. No.
So I watched it grow, and I'm like, this guy is real. But because I've been in real estate, and I got in real estate as an agent in college at 20 years old, so roughly 20 years.
Okay.
And then I said I want to get into commercial. So it's funny that I moved to Florida in 2014.
Okay.
And I said I want to get in commercial.
Yeah.
But I took a different approach, right? And I put it on the back burner. I didn't make it my
Okay.
focus.
Okay.
I went and got a job.
Right.
I grew on the corporate side, and I put it all on the back burner. And then when I did get involved in some commercial deals, there were times that I knew because of the color of my skin, I was boxed out.
Come on, man. Yeah.
I knew because of my age, I was boxed out.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not one that I don't want to make anything black and white. 'Cause
Sure.
That's not who
Sure.
I am. But as a black man in this space, how do you, if somebody says, "Hey, I want to be the next Sterling Anderson," right? Because I tell my son all the time, he plays basketball, like, dude, if you make it to the league, that's cool.
Right.
But you could be a real estate developer.
Come on, man.
You could be a commentator. You can do anything you want, right? The doors are open. How do you tell that kid, or how do you tell the Sterling 20 years ago, like, hey, man, like you could do something different?
Yeah. For me, if I could go back and tell myself 20 years ago, but I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to grow. But my thing is, I just continue to hammer myself with motivation to make sure I keep that focus and make sure I keep that. For a lot of people that get into the business, and I'll have a lot of people that reach out like, Hey, can I get some of your time, or can I pick your brain, or can I do that? This is what you're doing. That's exactly what I want to do. I always tell them, be ready to put that work in. It's fine, and you see a lot of things on social media, and I try to do a good balance with showing my struggles along with the successes, so you get to see both sides, because it's not easy. It's not easy having to raise $2 million in 3 days because an investor backed out.
Absolutely.
So like those type of things right there, that stuff's real.
Yeah.
That stuff happens. So it's not easy. Like I said, when investors have to cancel on deals, or you have a buyer that tries to go around you to a sell. I mean, it's different things that happen in the business or that have happened in the past. That stuff happens. When you have to keep delaying deals or things like that. So I always tell them, be ready for what comes in this business. Can you be successful in this business? Absolutely. There's a lot of successful people in this business. There's a lot of us that are successful, in this business and making entries into this business.
Yeah.
But you just have to be ready and prepared to deal with, what comes with it. You can go very far. You can start today and just imagine where you'll be in that 10 or 20 year span.
Yeah.
For me, and I have to be honest, 10 years ago when I got into the business, I didn't see necessarily developing hotels, building 400 units and doing that. I knew I wanted to own. I knew I wanted to get into apartments and flip houses and do that. But some of this stuff I literally, and I do, and I have to pinch myself, is just like, man, I get to get up every day and I get to do this.
Yeah.
I get to get up every day and do, and do what I do. My partner said, man, what are you up to? Doing everything I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
And so that right there is great for me, but you just have to keep that head strong, man, and go out there and get it.
Yeah. That's good, man. I at the end of the day, like I truly appreciate you coming in and talking to me. Like these are the type of conversations for me that are like, this is personal for me.
Yes.
Man. Like,
yes.
You could have been anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to be here talking to me. Like,
brother.
and it's. I mean, you're in Miami, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
it's a million things you can be doing other than sitting here talking to me.
Right. I got the messages like, hey, man, what
right?
are you? No.
Exactly, man. So it's like, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And more than anything, is because I just want to expose not just blacks or whites or young or old, but just I want to expose people to another level of thinking. Mm-hmm. And so when I see people like you embody what the We Just Different podcast is all about. Yeah. And I want to see what's on the other side of fear.
Yes.
I'm gonna do everything possible to do everything possible. No fear, no regrets. Like one of my biggest concerns in life is that I don't want to die and it's all said and done. And God say, man, I had so much more for you.
Ooh, wait.
Like, so I think about that. I think about that like daily. Like, I want to get to heaven and God say, man, you ran the wheels off that thing. Like, I like how you said that. Everything possible.
Yeah.
To do everything possible. Thank you so much to Sterling Anderson for coming through the We Just Different podcast. Hey, listen, if you liked what you heard, make sure that you check him out. IMN conference coming up. He's speaking in Dallas and then again in Miami. I'm telling you, he is dropping some jewels. Make sure you check him out on all social media platforms. Love you. Hope you got something from it. Hey, listen, thank you so much for tuning in to We Just Different podcast. Remember, do everything possible to do everything possible. No fear, no regrets. Charles Robinson.